Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you all feeling today? Are y'all ready to start this weekend off charged up and ready to go? All right, so let's get right into it. I want to first start by welcoming you back to the Anti Self-Development Training Book Review with the Transformation Leader, Crystal Metellus. Today marks week 12 of our weekly gathering. We will be discussing Devotion Day 22 and Day 23. My hope is that you have been leaving impacted in some way, shape, or form. Like, I really hope that you guys have been getting something from what we have been doing here week after week. So without further delay, I want you to grab your books, grab your notepads, grab yourself something to write with, even get yourself a little drink if you need to. You might get a little parched along the way, but we are going to continue to work diligently on what we set out to do, which was to successfully get through this entire book together. So turn with me to day 22 of your, and I quote, 31-day devotional so we can read day 22 quote together. Day 22. Your self-worth is merited based off of the appraisal that you give it. Your self-worth is based off of the appraisal that you give it. Not that your parents give it, not that your siblings give it, not that your bestie give it, not that your peers give it, not that your counselor give it, not that your pastor give it, not that your mentor give it, not that your neighbor give it, not that your enemy give it, not that your competition give it. Your self-worth is merited based off of the appraisal that you give it. How we see ourselves and how we treat ourselves, that's what sets the precedence for everyone else around us and how they will receive us and how they will engage us. You have to first know your worth in order to ever demand or command your worth from anyone else. Over the years, I've noticed that so many of us are living life well beneath our means because we've chosen to settle for the value that someone else places on our life, right? But what you have to understand is that everything that you have to offer, it brings benefit to someone else's life. Even if it's not to everyone else's life, it brings benefit to someone's life, right? One of the things that I always say is that the more that you know, the more valuable you will become. I want you guys to write that down, and I want you to make it personal to you. The more that I know, the more valuable I will become. Because guess what? Every experience that you encounter, what it does is it adds to your account, right? And because you are constantly gaining substance, that means that each and every day your value appreciates. Because guess what? Today I know something that I didn't know yesterday. Yesterday's experience taught me something that made me more helpful and beneficial to someone else's life because I can tell them how I made it through. I can tell them the steps necessary to get from point A to point B, right? So guess what? Overnight, I became even more valuable. That's the thing that you have to understand about yourself. So we have to learn to stop selling ourselves short, right? Stop selling yourself short off the clearance rack because someone else has cheap taste regarding you. Because we start to dummy ourselves down based off of who we are around so that they can accept us, right? So we feel like, you know what, let me not say it like this because they're going to think, I think I'm better than everybody. They're going to think I think I'm too smart, or they're going to look at my price and say, you know what, that's too much, right? And we start dumbing things down, right? Because of someone else's cheap taste. No, if who you are and what you produce, or if what you present or what you have to offer, right, is of luxury, then why would you ever settle for less than that? Why would you ever settle for less than your worth? That just doesn't make sense. It does not balance out. Think about it. Things that are of great expense that we know about, right, is usually based off of things like, it's based off of high quality, like, wow, what is this made out of? Like, these are the things that we begin to look at when we look at things of high quality that's great, that's of great expense. Or it's the large quantity, like, wow, I got this much, like, look at all that they gave me. most people, they gonna nickel and dime you, or they gonna give you the bare minimum. You like, wow, I got all of this. Or it's the precious ingenuity, like what it took to make this, like all the intricate details that go into it, or the rarity, like I can't get this from everywhere else. Like, wow, what that person just poured into me. Like, I'm how old now, and I'm just getting it this way. I'm just receiving this kind of wisdom and knowledge this way. And it's the level of high impact. Like, how do I leave after my engagement with you, or after what you gave me? Like, what was the impact that it had on my life? All of those are reasons that make something of great value and well worth it, right? So if you have a gift, or you have a talent of some sort, you have, a great degree of wisdom and knowledge in a certain area. Maybe you may have power and authority or influence because of who you are, or because of who you are affiliated with. Whatever the case, all of those things make you a person of value. So it is important that you start to change your perspective, because it's the one thing, that I wanted everyone to get from this book, right? Other people can see and know your worth, but it means nothing if you don't. So that was one of the most important things that I wanted this book to be able to do. I wanted it to change your mind about yourself, because guess what? 9 times out of 10, you have at some point in your life marked yourself off at being less than what you were actually worth. Right. And I say that because anytime you see yourself as less than, then you have at that point failed to see the level of investment that God has actually deposited into your life. I wrote this quote a while ago, and it said that never allow someone else's mismanagement of you to cause you to ever question your true value. Never allow someone else's mismanagement of you to make you ever question your true value, because the mere fact that your potential can never be capped already gives you a down payment at the high rollers table. You can't cap my potential. That already makes me of high caliber. So I want y'all to write this down. What's inside of you that you are willing to develop, that is what will always increase your worth. What's inside of you that you are willing to develop will always increase your worth. If you never get to the place where you learn to bank on yourself, then you can never expect to receive credit from anyone else, period. And that's just how it goes. What are you doing to assure that you remain in high demand? This is why we have to be intentional about constantly working on ourselves and making ourselves better, because we want to remain in high demand. That's what will make you an asset in life, right? Remember, when we set the tone, we control the narrative. When we set the tone for our lives, like the whole point of this devotion is to do every single morning for 31 days, is to train you on how to set the tone for your life so that you can in turn control the narrative. So now we're going to hop over to the next devotion and see what that devotion day has to say as well. So go with me to devotion day 23 and let's read that quote together. Devotion day 23. Devotion day 23 quote reads, "One's inability to stay stuck is predicated upon one's ability to move." Did y'all catch that? One's inability to stay stuck is predicated upon one's ability to move. This is actually a good one for this week because it reminds me of some advice that I gave to a question that was posed in my story a few days ago. And the advice that I gave was, if you give yourself a break, you'll take it. If you give yourself a pass, you'll use it. If you give yourself forever, guess what? You'll wait forever. because you're giving yourself an out. And when you give yourself an excuse, what you are doing is just justifying your reason for settling where you are. You're giving yourself a reason not to move forward in life. You're giving yourself a reason not to go after what it is that you want. And many times people are stuck mentally, right? And then in turn, it reveals itself in our lives physically. The only way for you to ever get to where you are going is you have to be willing to move. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, no matter what's going on, you have to keep pressing. Sometimes it will get hard. Yes, I understand that. Sometimes you will even feel alone, right? And for some reason, we just don't like to feel that feeling, but sometimes you will feel alone. Sometimes you may even get tired and, just feel weary and feel discouraged, right? From time to time. But even in those tough times, you have to allow your resilience to persevere over all of those other emotions. Allow your resilience to persevere. Keep in mind your goal. Remind yourself of your why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? And what awaits you on the other side, right? What do you get when you get to that place that you're going? What awaits you on the other side of opposition? What awaits you on the other side of affliction? What awaits you on the other side of gruesome labor? And I ask you these questions because your answer, that's your motivation not to quit. Your answer, that is what will keep you going, right? If you have this book, you know that on this particular devotion day, right, I share a brief testimony of something that I personally had to press through while writing this book. And I'm not going to go into detail of what that testimony was because by now you all should have the book. And if not, I want you to make sure that you go get it so that you can get that inside look. So I shared a testimony, right? Because we all get to see the glory of the finished products and celebrate with the people, in regards to that. But very rarely are we privy to the toiling and the struggle that takes place beforehand. So what I did was in Devotion Day 23, I gave y'all a behind the scene glimpse into my life and how, it's not always easy, but despite it all, it's still possible. It's not always easy, but despite it all, it is still possible. So I want to encourage you, to leave where you are right now, because it's the very thing that is holding you back from your future. If you're scared, do it scared. If, it seems to just be a lot on you, remind yourself that pressure produces greatness. Remind yourself of what pressure produces. If you're unsure, just take a chance. Take a leap. Get out of the boat, especially if God is calling you. But whatever you do, just do not lose sight of your tomorrow because you're holding tightly to yesterday. Because guess what? Tomorrow holds your promise. Tomorrow holds your results. Tomorrow holds your accomplishments. Tomorrow holds victory. Guys, listen, because we are constantly going to be going up against so much, it is imperative to understand that in order for you to ever make it anywhere, in order for you to ever make it out of here from where you are, your will to win must outweigh your reasons to quit. Your will to win must outweigh your reasons to quit. And last, right, before we close, I just want to leave you all with this scripture that I had actually put in the book, which is Hebrews chapter 10, verse 36, and it reads, "You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised." You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. The only way for you to ever get from point A to point B is you have to be willing to first leave from point A. Guys, I hope that bless you. I hope you take heed to what I'm saying. I hope that encourage y'all to keep moving forward, because guess what? This current challenge that you are being faced with is not the last. There will be many to follow it, but none of them have the ability to stop you. You are the only one that have that ability, because you quit or you give up on yourself or you lose hope. You begin to doubt and you succumb to those emotions over your faith that God will see you through each and every single time. So I want to thank you all again for tuning in. The sacrifice that you're making for your mental fitness, I'm sure it will bring you much benefit in life. So I just want to say, keep up the good work, guys. If you received anything of value from what was spoken in today's message, I encourage you to spread the word, recommend the book to someone. Again, we want to get more people involved in what we are doing here to motivate, inspire, and transform lives week after week. If you have something positive or informative that you would like to add, I am looking forward to hearing from you guys. To further connect with me, you can leave me a message on my website and join the Boss Movement at www.crystalmetellus.com. You can also purchase your very own copy of the And I Quote 31-Day Devotional from there as well. It is also available to you all on Amazon. Until next time, guys, remember to always boss up, take charge, and put a demand on your day. Bye, guys.